We gotta talk about some of the exciting tech choices that we're seeing right now. So make sure you guys smash the crap out of the Twin Swords of Flashing Light Trice, so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So this is actually a really cool pop-up that I saw recently with the entire addition to Doomsy getting the deck to be way more consistent. Well, first of all, when you give a deck that has immediate access into a floodgate card to tell your opponent, no, you're not allowed to get any searchability, then you're going to start to see players wanting to test out little bits of different ideas. And that's where this comes in. Now, Trice, for the low cost of powering down your monster by a whole whopping 500 attack points, my Jupiter can now get 2 attacks during each battle phase, which is now going to ensure that I have just won the game way more consistently. And that's not exactly the thing that you want to be hearing right now. You want to hear that, you know, Doomsy is just going to be, oh, you have the floodgate. Oh, no, you know, that's about as big as the deck's going to get. Nope. The deck is way more consistent and has been able to kind of come out of some of its things. And like I said, Doomsy has been kind of like my guilty pleasure deck. I have enjoyed watching the different lines of innovation that these players are trying to get this deck to do. It's almost comical how crazy consistent that, you know, players have been happy for this deck. Obviously, Elven Notes and Archmage do feel a little bit better. Sad day, but I mean, we're not giving up on our boy Doomsy because the deck just feels, like I said, it feels like a good deck. I like where we're going. I like that we are seeing, you know, increasing chances for the deck to do this thing. And obviously, double attacking OTK factors. Yeah, I love winning the game for no reason. Let's talk about good old Cosmo Neos. So, with Miracle Ejector landing in the OCG, one of the biggest questions that's kind of come into the more recent terms is, you know, what is going to be the best way to actually try to play this deck? You know, I want to be able to win the game, and is, you know, Miracle Ejector enough of a consistent piece to basically try to be able to make the deck work? I think Miracle Ejector does help out the deck. I don't know where Subspace Battle is going to take this. Subspace Battle is definitely one of those cards that you look at and you're like, hey, you know, this seems pretty good. But the problem is like, do the cards I give my opponent help them out if I do Subspace Battle them? You know, that's kind of where my point is here, you know. If they search for, you know, there shouldn't really be anything they could search for to detour us off of making the Nebulous Neos. That's kind of the whole point here. It's like, you're going to make Nebula Neos, you're going to, you know, make it so they can't do anything. The turn comes back to you, and congratulations, you've won the game. You know, you just have to be able to have enough pressure to be able to basically reverse course and play the game. And if you can do that, I mean, that's your win condition. Yeah, I know. How many Neos monsters, or how many Neospatians do you have to play? The answer is a lot. It is a lot of dedication to make it work. And I mean, heroes are still fearful of the rock, and they're still fearful of, you know, a very well-timed Fua and a very well-timed Ash. Those 2 cards effectively can end your entire turn to the point that you're just like, yep, okay, you're better than me, man. You know, congratulations, enjoy advancing on to the next stage of the tournament. You know, you've truly bested me in the experience of this duel. Dragunity Primus Pilus. Now, for those of you that forgot that this card existed, because I did, Dragunity truly just has some of the coolest tools available to them. And we don't even really get the chance to see them really working out. Now, Primus Pilus is a level 5. This is where the canine cards come in. So I can Yoku reveal this, special it, and then on special summon, you can select a face-up Winged Beast monster type Dragunity monster you control, and equip it with a level 3 or lower Dragunity monster from your deck. You're telling me here that this is a Winged Beast that is also a Dragunity monster. I can technically target itself and get the equip onto it. Yep, you bet you can. This ended up being a list that I just saw pop up in the OCG side of things, and I love it. I love the fact that we can do Dragunity shenanigans with this. It never really crossed my mind that this was a viable strategy. And you know what? It's amazing to think about, people. It's amazing to see that the canine stuff, once again, it's like we had with the Snake Eye stuff. You know, any deck that could use the Snake Eyes bridge to be able to climb into the different parts that could effectively take advantage of it. It's the exact same scenario here that you're seeing. Oh, hey, you know, this deck is able to cross over and take advantage of this. Congratulations. You're about to see probably one of the most interesting Dragunity classifications of builds kind of coming together, and I'm all for it, man. I want this deck to be successful. Pendulum Magicians. So they just gave us, I mean, a lot of Pendulum Magician support. Like, it feels like this deck is finally getting places, and you know, the way that it tries to play. And I will say, it has truly taken Konami long enough to get this deck to the point that, you know, it looks playable again. Now, for years, pendulums have really faced, you know, massive challenges in the TCG. You know, we don't have Electromite, or until, you know, Electromite does come back. I don't even know if Electromite's going to be enough of a challenger to try to save this deck. And that's another thought, you know, for the day. It's like, do we have enough of a turnaround on Electromite as a consistency piece? Because you've given them Beyond the Pendulum, Exceed the Pendulum, and Electromite. These are three, it's crazy because these are 3 extra deck cards that every Pendulum deck that can access, you know, these different lines wants to be able to work with. And we do talk about a lot of the fluff that comes with these. You know, Konami doesn't like it that you kind of rely on certain cards in order to, you know, be forced to deck build. But this is a classic example of, you know, if you don't have those tools, then, I mean, Pendulum just feels absolutely horrible. You know, you don't truly get an opportunity to get the best of all of this deck's setup. So, as much as, you know, the new support is helping it out, Electromite would be a fantastic push, enough to, I think, get people to walk back to this package and go, hey, you know, maybe we can breathe some new life in this. You know, maybe there is an opportunity here to try to make this deck slightly more consistent. I would be okay with that, honestly. I would be okay with whatever Pendulums are planning on pulling off, that they could do it. And then we have Enneacraft. Enneacraft, oh my god, this new support that we got, I know I'm really beating this into the ground, but guys, Destructive Daruma Cannon, Soul and Luna, a Tachyon Transmigration that negates 3 and down. You know, 18, 21 searchers, 4 or 5 level 1s at 15, triple of the normal summon search if you want to search for a flip effect monster, and then on top of it all, having, you know, 3 placing into the scales. Like, come on, man. Your deck, when you make something that is this many searchers, it is crazy to think about the amount of consistency that Konami has just been giving this deck. And I'm all for it. After I've play tested, I think, about 4 to 5 hours on the new build, it feels pretty consistent. I'm actually happy to actually report and say, hey, you know, we actually are seeing, you know, actual reason for this engine to be working out. It's consistent. I mean, you're still going to have terrible matchups. I mean, Albion being a deck that just makes it so you can never interact with him already is going to be a problem. You can't do anything about the gimmick puppet lock. You know, are we playing, you know, I guess we can make the argument that we should be playing, you know, Destructive Daruma maximized to handle that, but it's not going to come up in every sort of scenario. It's definitely a little bit more out there. But what do you guys think about all these tech choices? Please leave a comment down below. What do you guys think? I'll see your beautiful faces back here the other day, guys. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.